Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to be talking about travelling with spinal fusion. So if you haven't been on this channel already, my name is Sarah, and on this channel I talk all about scoliosis, spinal fusion and life after spinal fusion. So I am 9 years post scoliosis surgery, very nearly almost 10, so I would definitely be doing a video for that. But yes, as I've mentioned, today I'm going to be talking about travelling with spinal fusion. So in particular, I'm going to be talking about the trip that I did to Thailand probably about 3 years ago now, so it has been quite a long time, but I think it'll be interesting to talk about a trip which is for quite a long time. So I went for a month, and it also has the aspect of having quite a long flight there and also travelling in between places and doing lots of different sort of activities. So I'm going to be showing lots of clips that I managed to get there, talking a bit about each aspect. And yeah, so stay tuned if you want to find out more about how it is travelling after you've had your spinal fusion. So I have done many other trips that are smaller, so I've been to lots of places in Europe and just abroad on holiday, so they're mostly for maybe 4 days to 2 weeks, and a lot of the time they are in cities and the flight there is maybe 2 to 4 hours. So in that way, that's a lot different to the type of thing that I'm going to be talking about today. But I'll make sure to do a video more talking about a city break, because there's a lot of differences and maybe some things you might expect, especially maybe when going on a shorter trip. So let's get into this. Let me get some clips up to show you. So you can see here that I am on the plane. So this is on the plane journey from Manchester to Thailand. So the flight probably was about 13 hours, and that's, I think it was 7 and then 6. So I had a break in between. It was a layover for about 3 hours. And so that did break up the flight journey a little bit, but still 6-7 hours, and then again 6-7 hours on a flight for somebody with spinal fusion is a bit of a pain. But yes, as you can see, I am laying down, so I managed to be able to lay down on this flight on both journeys, and yeah, super happy about that. That just relieved all my pain basically and allowed me to be quite happy, to be honest, on the flight. So I mean, I know you cannot ever foresee if you are going to have this opportunity to lay down, but you know what, if there's 3 seats, 2 seats free, I would get yourself lied down as soon as possible. So I have actually done a video on flying, and I will link that somewhere, about little tips in terms of flying. So as you can see here, I have got a very big backpack. Definitely that is something that I would do differently if I was to do this type of trip again. So that backpack was probably about 20 kilograms, I think. It was really heavy. It was really heavy. And then I also had another bag as well. So I was just completely loaded up. My back absolutely killed from having that much weight on me. So I had to travel with that like through the airport and to whatever hotel we were staying at the time. So I'd probably only have it on for like maximum an hour at a time, but still that is a lot of weight and I was not prepared for that. So I definitely advise not carrying such a heavy backpack. So the next one I'm going to talk about is the trip that I did to the Grand Canyon in Thailand. And this was such an amazing experience and something that I've not ever done before. So it had loads of inflatables in a lagoon out there, and it was just an amazing experience. I'm quite happy in the water. I did swimming for many years, and this was a really fun experience. And then I also did zip lining. So I zip lined across, which I don't think I've done post surgery, so that was a definite first, and I was really scared, but I did it and I didn't end up hurting myself. Had quite a soft landing each time. So in terms of that, it was okay, but I know that sometimes on zip lining you can have quite a heavy landing, and I was definitely conscious of that happening and worried about it, but it did end up being okay. The next activity that I did a lot of was snorkeling. So I didn't have any sort of equipment really, I just had my own snorkel, which enabled me to dive down only to shallow depths, but that was enough, as there was a lot of life in that sort of area, a lot of fishes, and it was just absolutely amazing. As I've said, I'm quite a confident swimmer, so swimming post spinal fusion hasn't really been a problem for me. I know that it is kind of, you do have to do strokes differently. So for instance, on breaststroke, it kind of feels like I'm not lifting my head up as much just because I can't arch my back. But in terms of general swimming like this, I don't have a problem. I'm really happy doing it, and definitely it's something you must do if you go somewhere tropical which has some sort of sea life. Another activity that we went to was an elephant sanctuary. So I'm not going to talk too much about the elephant sanctuary itself. I'm going to talk about the transport to and from. So when you are in a country like Thailand, maybe the transport is a bit different to what you're used to. So on the way there and the way back, we were in the back of a pickup, so we were sat sideways, and I mean, I get like travel sick at the best of times, so this wasn't great, but it was also like a 2-hour journey each way, and the seats were wooden and you were bouncing up and down because you were going through like jungle paths, and it was just absolutely horrendous for my back. I remember being quite like in pain even before I got there, and then when I was there it was obviously an all day thing, but yeah, I guess that's one of those things that you can't really do anything about. So we did a lot of travelling around Thailand, so that involved aeroplanes and a lot of boats. So the boats for me were quite good, as they were only really an hour, 2 hours in length, and on these boats you could sort of walk around, you could sit inside, you could sit outside, and my back was quite happy on these. And then we also did flights, and the flights once again were maybe 1 hour, 2 hour max, just going from northern to southern Thailand. So actually the travelling in between those places in Thailand, I was really happy with. They seemed quite short at the time and didn't really have an effect on my back in the same way that the huge travel to and from Thailand did. So I'm just going to finish up and talk a bit more generally about travelling with spinal fusion. So in whatever trip I have done, I have found it significantly hard. I've had to take painkillers probably daily, no matter if I'm going on a city break or on this trip to Thailand. I was taking a lot of painkillers just because of things like the bed. So the beds in Thailand were as hard as rocks. It was just like laying on a piece of wood, and I know that's the same in a lot of other places, and I know it's probably the same for a lot of you guys watching this. You are only really happy sleeping on your own bed, like I am. I hate it when I have to sleep anywhere else. So yeah, as soon as I woke up in the morning, I had horrendous backache, and I was even waking up in the night just because like the pain was waking me up. So that is already not a very good start to the day, and it's also something that you can't really do much about. So I think 2 weeks into the trip in Thailand, we bought a lilo. So the lilos are what you might go in the pool with or the sea on, and you just kind of lay on them in the sea. But yeah, we actually blew that up each night and put that on the bed for me to lay on. And I tell you what, that was probably one of the best night sleeps I've ever had, and it just made the whole journey so much better, as I was actually getting a good night's sleep. I wasn't waking up in pain. Like, it wasn't like fantastic to sleep on, but it did definitely help. And I know it sounds ridiculous that I literally slept on a lilo for like 2 weeks of this amazing trip, but for me it was definitely worth it. And if you are in pain sleeping on hard things, I would definitely suggest either asking for pillows and literally getting like 6 pillows and lining them up for you to lay on, or getting something like a lilo or a blow up mattress for you to put on top of the bed and lay on. Lifesaver. So I know I've talked a lot about pain on this video, but honestly, it's not being negative, it's just like the reality for me. It's what I think about when I am talking about subjects like this. It's what's caused me pain and what has not caused me pain. And it's really important, and I'm sure it's important for a lot of you as well. But if you're one of these people who do not have pain day to day when you're at home, then you might be able to travel a lot with like a lot less pain than I have. And I think everyone with spinal fusion is just completely different in that sense. So I hope you're not watching this video and thinking that, being really negative about it, because traveling is like so important to me and I love it so much, and I cannot wait to go on my next long trip that I'll hopefully do this summer. And honestly, like, when I think back, although I know that I was in pain, like, the memories that were created on these journeys are just so much more important than maybe being in pain for like a few weeks. The memories absolutely last forever, and I would definitely recommend doing these sorts of trips, going on holiday or whatever you want to do, and do not be held back by thinking you're going to be in pain, by thinking you're going to be different to other people that maybe you're going with. As you know what, people just have to understand and, you know, get on with it. Thank you for watching this video, and hopefully, if anything, you've just liked looking at the pictures of Thailand, as I loved putting this together. I just loved looking back at them. I feel like I look so much younger. But yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed this video, and please drop me a comment if you have anything to say about doing these longer style trips and how going on holiday and travelling for you is with scoliosis or with spinal fusion. And hopefully I'll see you again in another video.